So, hello, welcome back to another thing. Well, I'm not going to say episode. It's just shit videos being churned out of me on the box. Yeah, so that happened yesterday, didn't it? And I think we probably need to come on. Well, I probably need to come on and talk about it for all 5 of my subscribers. One of which being me on a different account. But yeah, I couldn't go and watch that and then not come on and say something after starting this sort of channel thing last week. I felt like I needed to come on and speak about it, but no one's going to watch it really, so I'm basically just talking to myself. But it's good to get your demons out about the game. So in terms of the game itself, it was very dull. I mean, the atmosphere before the game was good, but it's just a thing with Wembley. Every time I've been to Wembley, obviously only once with Leeds yesterday, but I've been for different sports and even some concerts. It's hard to get that atmosphere going. You can get little pockets, but when there's so many of you and the acoustics inside Wembley are strange at the best of times because it's so big, it's just really quite hard to get a big chant going. There was little pockets starting, but I mean the atmosphere at the start was great, I thought, but then as soon as the game kicked off it was very average. I mean, both sets of fans, the Saints fans towards the end were quite good, as you'd expect them to be, but I didn't think we had much to shout about yesterday. I thought we started off really well. First 10 minutes, I thought, fuck me, it's the same team that played Norwich. We could have a good game on here, but it just wasn't to be, was it? We soon started to fall to pieces almost. As soon as that goal happened, it's almost identical to the goal that they scored against us at St Mary's, one of the 3, sorry. So, as soon as that got scored, I just thought, shit, I never felt like it was going to be our day as soon as that happened. And to be honest, I thought we controlled quite a bit of the game, just without ever really looking clinical. And I think that's something that's happened quite a lot this year. We've individual players have got us out the shit, but that, no individual players were ever going to do that yesterday. I thought Somerville were very poor, although I'll get on to the whole decision to take him off. But yeah, I didn't think he had a great game, but I don't think any of them did. I thought Rodon was alright. I think he had something to shout about, although if he would have squared it when he got into the box, we might have been sitting here as a Premier League team, but who knows? It's all in hindsight now. But yeah, it was just a really strange game, wasn't it? It was very dull, exactly what you'd expect a Championship playoff final to be. But yeah, as soon as they scored, I just thought, this is just same old Leeds. And when you look at them Championship playoff finals, that we've been in, they've all been pretty similar. Not scored a goal, never really looked like scoring a goal. I mean, obviously we had a big chance with James at the end, and that was huge. I think if that goes in, I genuinely do think we'd go on and win that game. Where you could just say that's just me being, blindly optimistic, but I do think we do. I mean, that the whole momentum shift, it would be almost like that Leicester game at home where, a goal that late on, it almost kills teams, especially in a game of that magnitude as well. And to be fair, I thought he was very good when he came on, Dan James. That's a player that, he had a lot of shit coming into this year, but he's really proved himself, obviously, at this level. And one that I'd like to see starting next year, and I think he probably will be, because, we're probably going to lose Nonto and Somerville. But yeah, there's not really much else to say on the game. The ref was shit, but, the ref can't score your goals, so that's not an excuse that you can use when you don't score goals. I mean, just going to touch on it very fast. When Somerville got booked, he'd fucked up when they're showing the replay and then they cut it. Oh, that was just like, it was just fucking dull, wasn't it? the refereeing performance was shit. He completely lost control of the game. I mean, we were just getting kicked every time we went forward. And, it worked for them. I can't knock it. It is what it is. But, I've actually said to a few people now, how I feel about that game. I'm not angry or upset about the game. I feel like I should be more angry or upset. But I'm very content with what's happened. It's not like that Derby game where, I was fuming for weeks after that. Still cursing Frank Lampard every time I left the house. But, no, it's really not like that. It's something completely different. And, I don't really know how to describe it. I think, we've been there. That's obviously one major factor. I'd never even seen us in the Premier League in my lifetime before that Derby game. So I think that was, a lot of it was riding on that. Another thing, I don't think any of us feel as connected to this group of players as we did with that team. That team was so loyal to the club. Look, Ayling was there yesterday. Phillips was there. Phillips obviously always going to be there with being Leeds, but there's a lot of lads there that almost have carried on supporting Leeds now, or even though they've left. I mean, Ayling plays for a different team in the different league, for fuck's sake, and in the same league, for fuck's sake, and he's just, it's the same sort of pride and passion for Leeds, and that's not something we got anymore. And obviously the factor of it being Bielsa rather than Farke is another thing. So I just think that, I really don't feel that angry or upset. I could just be putting this on and forcing myself to think like that in my head, and it might all start to hit me in the next few days, but I really can't say that it's really pissed me off that much. As much as it should have. Don't get me wrong, I was angry at the end. I had to walk right past their lot on the segregation, and that was, that was fun. And it was moving very fucking slowly down the stairs as well. I was like, oh, please just get us out of this fucking ground. But, once we got out there, we cheated the tube system we were on. Didn't actually see many Southampton in London, which was a fucking result. But yeah, it is what it is, really, isn't it? We can't do anything about it now. No point sitting and dwelling on it. I'm not exactly a happy clapper, as people obviously like to refer to people in the fan base. I'm not really one of them. I can criticise people. I've got people I'd like to criticise in my head, but not just for yesterday, for the entire season. And there's a few lads that are going to be cashed in on now that I'm not that mad are going to get cashed in on. So yeah, it is what it is. There's nothing really more to say about it. It was a good day out with a good group of lads that was ruined by 11 men wearing white, and that's just how often has that been the story, especially following Leeds United. I seen one lad on Twitter. He said Leeds United solely exists for the entertainment of other teams' fans, and I'm starting to think that might be true, because when you really look, obviously everyone says, oh, you need to have the lows to enjoy the highs, but our lows have been much more low than our highs. In my lifetime, I can think of two. Well, I say lifetime. Obviously, the League One promotion, I was still very young. I didn't really understand, what was going on. So I can't actually count that in one of my highs. So my highs are literally the Bielsa season and then staying up on the last day, which, to be fair, it was a big moment. I loved it at the time, but staying up on the last day of the season is, something to shout about at the time, but it's not an achievement. Unlike going up with Bielsa, top of the league, that was, that's the top it's ever been, and we weren't even allowed in the grounds. So, I think we excite other team fans a lot more than our own. When is it going to end? But yeah, it is what it is. I mean, them bastards won the FA Cup final on Saturday as well, so it's just a shit footballing weekend. I'm not even going to watch the Champions League final next weekend, just so I don't have to look at Wembley. I actually got offered some tickets to an England game at Wembley. I just said, fuck that, I ain't going back there. I'm going to avoid it like the plague until either we're back there in the next 16 years or, a big concert. Like I went to see Blur there last year. So anyone like that, I'll go and see there. But footballing wise, I'm avoiding that shithole. Anyway, the game's obviously sparked a lot of conversations about Farke and what people think. Farke in, Farke out. Does he know Farke all? Sorry, I'm quite proud of that one. I'm 50-50, to be honest with you. I don't really see what we gain from getting rid of him, because it's another summer of change. We saw a summer of change last year. We didn't kick on until September, and that ultimately cost us in the end. We got 90 points, and if we'd have had him from the start of that pre-season, you look at that and you think, well, there's a lot of issues going into the season where that's probably where it fucked us over in the end. So I don't see what we gain from another summer of change. And, just to touch on that again, who do you get? The manager market is fucked nowadays. You look, Burnley have got, they've just been relegated and companies going to fucking Bayern Munich. So who do you get? There's no one on my list of anyone who I'd even want or who would actually drop down and take that job. I personally, I think I'd keep him. I mean, I've seen someone comparing to the German Southgate yesterday. I can sort of agree with that. His football is a bit boring at times, but I think we were very spoiled under Bielsa, and that's not a dig at the fans, but we're never going to get that again. So everything's shit now. Any football we play is going to be shit unless someone comes in and plays like that Atalanta manager the other night. That was almost like watching a Bielsa team, and I've really, really enjoyed watching it. And I don't really enjoy watching a lot of neutral teams anymore, because as much as I love Bielsa, he killed that for me, because, it's not the Bielsa way, and that was the way that I've just blindly followed for years. So, yeah, it's just, I don't know, I see points on both sides. He has made mistakes, He has made big mistakes. He's persisted with players that are not playing well. I mean, his decision to take off Somerville yesterday for me was laughable, even though he was playing shit. But that's a lad who can get you a goal out of nothing. You bring on Jaden Anthony. I mean, fair play. Not fair play to Jaden Anthony, but he's had a tough year personally and stuff, and I don't really think he's ever got the chance. But when he has come on, I think it's just been a bit shit. So in the biggest game of the season, relying on someone like that, it felt like Izzy Brown against Derby. It felt like, right, you're out of ideas now. That's it. Brendan's first touch was fucking out of play. It's like, oh fuck me, this is just not gonna happen today for us, is it? So yeah, he has made mistakes persisting with shit players. His substitutions are absolutely abysmal. When you look at them, it's like me playing Football Manager. It's just chuck all your attackers on whenever you're losing. That's literally it. Game management and that. Game management's not great, but I don't really see what you gain from getting rid of him. I don't see who you can bring in that's any better than him. He's a Championship promotion specialist. Well, obviously he wasn't this year, but he's a title winning specialist. Look at his first year at Norwich. Obviously, it's a much weaker team than we've got, and I see everyone's argument saying we've got the best team in the league and we've not gone up, and on paper we probably had, but Norwich, he did it with them twice. He got us 90 points, as much as I'm fed up of fucking hearing about it. But yeah, I'd probably keep him just this next year, and if the 49ers are as ruthless as everyone says they are, if he starts shit, I've got no issues of getting rid of him. That's it. I've got fucking no issues with that. But this league next year looks very, very, very weak. I mean, I know. I think I said that at the start of this year because I wasn't expecting Ipswich to do what they did, and I don't think anyone was really, not even Ipswich fans. So it looks like a very weak league, and Burnley haven't got a manager. Sheffield United look absolutely fucked trying to get a team together, and I can't see Luton having that season again that they had last time. So that's 3 teams coming down that are not as strong as us, Southampton and Leicester, who came down last year. The teams coming up, Derby, Portsmouth, I think they'll have a decent mid-table finish, and Oxford, yeah, I'm not going to predict anyone to finish bottom yet, but if I had to, it would be Oxford. So it's just, it looks like a weak league, and I think I'd probably keep him for that reason, but I see why people want to get rid, and if they do end up getting rid, I won't be 100% mad, but personally I would keep him for now. See how he's going until about October time, and if it's shit in October, then I think then you've probably got to make the change then, but who do you get? That's my problem. I mean, the team as well. This is another thing, how can you get rid of a manager when we don't even know what the starting 11 is going to be next year? Somerville's going to go, that's nailed on, and to be fair, I think he probably wants to go, and I think it is time to move him on. He's had a great year, and I've really enjoyed watching him, but I think it is time to move him on. Nonto's probably going to go. I don't think he'll strike again, because I don't think he enjoyed the shit he got for that, and fucking rightly so as well. I think it's time to move him on. They're the 2 main ones for me that I think will go. Rutter, I think, will stay, because who wants to pay that money for him? I'm not too sure anyone does. Gray, again, I think we get another year out of Archie Gray, but barring someone putting a mental bid in, the money in football's mental nowadays. Someone could come in and chuck 50 million at him. I mean, I'm not saying he's worth that, but someone could come in and do that, and then you have to take it. But barring them big bids, do everything to keep him. I do everything to keep Rutter as well, but I can't see many people actually wanting him for the price we're going to want. Melier is the one for me that I would definitely move on. He's got a bit of credit in the bank with the Golden Glove, but a lot of that for me came from his defence in front of him. His distribution's shocking. His shot stopping is never great. He made a good save yesterday, but apart from that, I can probably count on my hands the amount of good saves he's made this year. He's made so many mistakes, and I think it is time to move on from him. There's better goalkeepers out there. I'm not going to chuck any names out there because I've not thought about it, and it's not my job to sign them players. So yeah, Melier's another one I'd get fucked off immediately. Bamford, you can't keep having a bloke who's going to play, score 5 goals, get injured for 5 months. It's not sustainable. He has to be fucked off as well for me. I don't know if he will be. The retain list is obviously coming out in the next couple of days. Be a few emotional goodbyes. Cooper will go, Dallas will go. They're the 2 obviously main ones. And you've got the young boys as well. Obviously Cresswell. That's one for me that I'm very intrigued about because he is a good player, but I did back Fark on that whole situation. So I'm not going to now turn my back on him and say, he should have played Cresswell more. But, is he going to get fed up? He had a good season at Millwall on loan. I can't, if let's say, for example, we kept Cooper, that's it then for Cresswell. I think he'd be gone. Joffrey's another one that don't really agree with people's stance on. There's a lot of people saying, he should have used him more. He had his chances at the start of the year. He looked lively, but he never looked really threatening. Runs around a lot. He's like a smaller Bamford. Like who else have you got? Youngsters. Mateo Joseph is one, for me, has to be in and around that team so much more next year. So much more. Pirro played for 90 minutes yesterday. Joseph played for 10, and Joseph looked more clinical and more threatening than 10 minutes than Pirro looked in fucking 90. He has to be playing next year. I see no way that he can't be playing next year. For me, he is ridiculous talent, and if we don't start playing him next year, someone's going to snap him up, and we're going to feel very sorry for ourselves when he's banging in goals for someone else. That's literally it. So he has to be in the team next year for me. Obviously, like I've already mentioned, Korean Nonto. If there's one player I'd like us to go and sign, personally, it's that Latte Lath from Middlesbrough. Every time he's played us, he's looked fucking brilliant. He's a big, strong lad. His finishing's ridiculous. That header he scored against us was fucking unreal. That is a lad I'd just throw money at and say, listen, I want you. And I think he'd suit our style as well. He's good at holding the ball up. He runs around a lot and he scores goals. That's it. That's all you need. And Pirro, when he scored 14 goals, but he doesn't run away. When he runs around a lot, it's aimless. He's a passenger a lot of games. 16 million now is looking like a shocking signing. But, at the time we all thought, fucking hell, brilliant signing, because Leicester and Southampton both wanted him. So, it is what it is. Shay Adams is another one I'd look at. I know we're always linked with him and stuff, but he's not going to get kicked in the Premier League, Southampton. I'd have a look at him now. He tore it up with Birmingham that year when he was, their starting striker. Obviously, he's had Armstrong in front of him this year, so it's been a little bit different. But that's a man I'd definitely look at. He scores goals. But yeah, look, it's hard to sit here and speculate before we even know anything that's going on. I've seen some fella come out, I can't remember his name, come out and said, Leeds need to sell before they spend. But then he was on podcast a few weeks ago saying, Leeds are financially fine. So, make your fucking mind up. Don't do stuff for clicks and that. It's just bullshit. A lot of the stuff we see in the next few weeks will just be bullshit. So I wouldn't even pay much attention to it, to be honest. I'm not going to. I'll scroll on Twitter. I'll sit there. I'll pray to see some news that Rodon's going to come back, and pray to see the news that them loan boys that we sent out will all fuck off, because there's none of them I want in that team, especially not Aronson. I see someone said they wanted him. I'm not being funny. He weren't strong enough for the Premier League. He'll get kicked to fuck in the Championship. Not a chance. I honestly, I never want to see him in a Leeds shirt again. And it's very similar for a lot of the boys that went out on loan. None of them I want to see back in that team. I don't care how good you think they are. We got relegated with them and they're not good footballers. So get them fucked off. Another little funny thing actually before I go. The Sevilla fans have all turned on Victor Orta. Who saw that coming? Yeah, that cheered me up this morning when I saw that. Yeah. Sorry, I just randomly thought about that. I meant to mention that earlier. But yeah, you know what? Like I've said, Wembley is what it was. I probably shouldn't have told a little Southampton child that he needs to watch out for a certain political figure. I'm not going to say his name. I ain't got the money to be sued by him. But yeah, I probably shouldn't have said that. But it did cheer me up a little bit, So yeah, it is what it is. Can't say I'm that annoyed about it. I was yesterday walking out the ground. As soon as I left, I was just more pissed off by the "thank you for coming to Wembley Stadium" announcement, which was promptly met by "fuck off" by everyone. But yeah, that's about all I've got to say, really. I'm probably going to come on here and do some Euros stuff, because I really, I was going to say I enjoy watching England. I don't enjoy watching that twat's Southgate's tactics, but, I am, I'd say I'm a big England fan when it, the friendlies are boring as fuck, but I do enjoy watching England. So I will come on and I'll do a bit of Euro stuff. I'll probably do quite a bit of Leeds stuff as well. I imagine I'm going to maybe touch on the retained list when that comes out at some point in the week. But apart from that, there's not really much you can do in the, post-season up until August, and then we all go again. There'll be people saying, I can't be arsed. Well, then fuck off then, because, if you wanted to be winning all the time, this is not a club you should support, because it doesn't happen. Of course, we all want to win all the time, but, fuck off and support Man City, because the club's not for you. evidently. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'm hoping to get a nice amount of subscribers, not including myself, on my other account before next season. So that's like my aim at the minute. It's just, you know, we've got a bit of a gap. See if I can build it a bit up until next season, have a bit more of a platform to be speaking on. But apart from that, if anyone's made it this far, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch up with you all at some stage, probably in between this week. Probably not this week, to be fair. I know I said the retain list, but I probably won't do anything this week. You know, just going to fuck football off, forget about it, or might do something Champions League related if I can be bothered. But yeah, apart from that, probably see me talking about the Euros next, or when we get a little bit of speculation or some breaking news. You know, if they fuck Farker off, then I'm going to obviously jump on and say what I think about that. But apart from that, yeah, thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate it. Wouldn't massively appreciate if you shared it and stuff as well. But yeah, that's about all I've got to say. Leeds United let us down once again. Like that lad said on Twitter, one day we'll die and we'll never have to watch Leeds United again. Thank you very much.